We're here! Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paradise City Stories, Mutants Masterminds actual play, over here on Weave the Tale. I am Pope World Bill on Twitter, Pope World Bill on the Twitch. I lurk in all your streams, and I get to be the editor today for this amazing story with these incredible people. Enough about this nonsense, and let's meet our fantastic cast. First up, with our amazing Jettica Jones. Alicia, how you doing?
Hey, that's me. I'm doing great. Looking forward to what shenanigans we get up today. And yes, I'm Alicia, or Energy 98, depending on platform. Now we're playing Jettica Jones, who definitely thinks that hero point was worth it. Definitely won't regret that in the future. It's fine. Both me and my character use she, her pronouns.
Fantastic. And someone who definitely doesn't have any sort of problems ongoing right now. Anino, how are you and Lawin doing this issue?
I think we're doing okay. Hi everyone, my name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, the aloof veteran known as Lawin.
All right. Well, someone who is less aloof, but maybe a little more trouble. That would be our Bastian B. Bucks, Mr. Universe, played by the wonderful Mr. Smith. How you doing? Muted, friend.
Now I can talk.
Yes.
Words. Technology. I'm doing all right. Thank you very much. Bastian, he might be having a bit of a problem. Lesson learned, do not make deal with the Fae, even if it's trying to help out your team, apparently.
Again, Fae are terrible, terrible creatures. Both beautiful and awe-inspiring. Including their summer knight, who seemed to get along incredibly well with Titanica. Molly, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. My name's Molly, and since I'm wearing a glittery spandex tank hoodie, I must be playing Titanica. Both she and I use she, her pronouns.
Awesome. And someone who was definitely missed and maybe commented upon in said club is the inimitable Overdrive, played by Sveth. How you doing?
Hello, I am good, thank you. I am Beth. I am she, her pronoun, as is my character Overdrive, who I will keep a bit stum about till she arrives.
Well, to catch folks up, what was in the previous issue of Overdrive?
So, I think followers of Overdrive will have seen in this comic, it will start off on Horizon Laboratories, which is a place in Paradise City, where they do all manner of various, exciting edge of science, big tech and science company. And then after that sort of outside shot, you will get a profile view of Overdrive, as she is mostly in the dark, lit by a screen, and she's tapping away, doing something, clearly trying to get through something on this system here. She's looking pretty intense. She's got brown eyes, sort of short brown hair, nothing too assuming. And clearly she's trying to get something done under a bit of pressure, and under the cover of dark. There'll be a beeping as time for something has run out, and we'll see her look towards a door, and thus to the reader she'll turn and you'll see that the other half of her face and going all the way down the rest of her is sort of cyborg, basically. And it's smooth and follows the contours that you'd sort of expect. And as she sort of turns with surprise, you see a few sort of like static-looking green waves go across what is clearly like a display surface over the whole of her left side. She sort of maybe swears under her breath a bit and shakes her head, and then looking at the door as we sort of hear someone is coming, she takes out her cybernetic-y hand, her cyborgy hand, she places it onto this computer and display, and you see a shock go through it, which clearly does the trick, and opens up everything, and all the lights will come on, and there we will see that clearly she was trying to break into a system, and someone will come through and congratulate her on, you know, managing to get through the systems even quicker than last time. Clearly they need to update their security. And I think with that there's an exchange between them. Having done her job, she will thank them, and then they'll probably be, I guess she will have a job well done. She'll get out her phone and she will send a message to her friends, her group, to say job finally done. What are we up to?
So, with that text, we see that. Turn the page. On the next panel, we see a number of shadowed figures gathered on the rooftop across the street from Horizon Labs. Just this beautiful, beautiful shot. Large panel. But then, as we turn the page, we see Lawin standing in the lobby where we left him in the previous issue, across from John Martin, formerly known as the Despoiler, a mystical villain of significant power, who is now much older, much more fit, and if you remember last time, the last thing he said was, "All right, you found me." So, Lawin, what happens next?
So I'm not here for any sort of trouble. However, we are investigating an attempted theft on your side business, and would like to know, what do you think they were after?
Well, that's reasonable. Here, give me a sec to change. Meet you outside. If you're worried about me sneaking out the back, across the street, I can see a few of your friends. That Jaguar's mine. It's the only antique car on the entire street, and I'm not going to leave it behind.
Lawin's just going to eye him for a moment, and then he'll nod and motion for everyone else to head outside.
He's back. More cleaned up, more put together. Wearing a fitted t-shirt, blue jeans, black cowboy boots. Okay, so, well, I guess the defenses hold, but you showed up. And because the defense is held and you showed up is why you're here, I'm guessing.
Sounds about right.
Again, the good news is the demons are very particular about who they attack. But I don't really have the faith in Paradise PD to stop anyone who would try to retrieve something from my collection. And so I had to rely on a few old tricks. Do you know who was trying to get in?
I believe it was the Midnight Runners. Mercenaries.
Marks. Yeah. Well, could be a number of things. Especially if it was them. That doesn't help narrow things down. I can give you a few things. Given recent history and the fire at the local college, the largest collection of mystical lore, meta lore, was held at the college, and now that's gone. So, the last texts dealings with genealogies, certain, well, dimensional theories, and a few books that should not get into a number of individuals' hands. The only extant copies within the eastern seaboard are in my collection. And given that I haven't had anyone in particular inquiring about any of those tomes, they must be familiar enough with the market and my collection. Or they were just desperate enough to hire professionals to just toss the place. So you're either looking for someone who knows precisely what they want, or a rank amateur. A rank amateur with money.
Honestly, I really think they just know what they want. I vaguely remember hearing the blokes at the break-in. They were there for a reason, looking for something specific. We just happened to get in the way.
Well, if they knew what they were looking for, they can come back with a title, name. I might be able to give you a better idea about who you're dealing with.
Bastian will look at Lawin. Did the one you pick up tell you anything before you brought him back?
No. It was very
Yeah.
reticent. I
Well,
suppose
maybe
we're
we'll
just
get
going to
lucky
have
and
So I think maybe we should take another attempt at either interrogating them or find others of his group and see if we can shake out more.
Well, considering that you already found me, and that I'm talking to you, means I'm going to be on at least a few people's radars now. So, what's a little more fuel in the fire? You're probably not going to get anything out of them, the ones that you captured. The wreckers are professionals. They may not be the most effective, especially if Doxy wasn't with them. But they are still pros. But there is a bar over Dockside Warehouse District. Not marked, but if you have eyes to see, you'll know precisely which building it is, considering the multitude of vehicles in the parking lot in front of it. And they're not quiet. Again, part of my reason for not trusting Paradise PD is because they know of cancers in the city and do nothing about them. They have better things to do than die. But you all seem very interested in whatever it is they were coming after. And there are looser lips at that bar. I'm fairly certain if Doxy got tapped, others may have passed on the job because they knew precisely what they were going into.
It's good to know.
Well, with that, can I get back to my evening?
Of course. Sorry to trouble you. One last thing. How much does it cost to get in and take a look at some of your tomes?
Appointments are free. It's the purchasing that's expensive.
I don't suppose you have a library card?
Considering that I have to do certain wards to make certain that specific individuals do not try and use glamours or any number of other ways of getting a glimpse. No, I don't have frequent guests to the collection.
Perhaps I'll look you up another time then.
If you're in the market, and considering I have an idea of how much is in your account, by all means, make an appointment. Now, should I expect all of you to crash my brunch on Sunday?
I'm sorry.
As a note, Jet,
I mean,
Jet's
well.
actually by the car. Like when motion away, Jet actually stepped out.
I mean, we could probably just call the appointment line now that we've actually, talked to you. It feels weird to crash somebody's brunch. Am I wrong?
Brunch is a little too
It's a
bougie
good
for me.
brunch. Oh, that makes way more sense now. Yeah, I'll probably crash your brunch, but not you personally.
Alright, I just wanted to make sure if I needed to order a table for myself or not.
Feel free to make it for two.
I'll make it for 6.
Aw,
Maybe 7.
that's nice
And the
of
old
you.
man will decide to join us as well. He's probably already heard about this. He's probably laughing as we're speaking. Alright. Well, I bid you all adieu. Just keep your eyes on. He just sort of grunts as he slides into the Jag, throwing his bag of dance gear into the passenger seat.
Quick thing. So as I said, Jet walked away and was standing by it. So Jet's not trying to do anything to the car, but Jet wants to try to see, can she make a magic check to see, can she identify some of the protections that are probably on it?
Go ahead.
Cool. We'll do that. Nope! Great start! I want to be clear, she was not trying to tamper with them. But maybe she did anyway, I don't know.
You bring up those mystical senses to the fore, and you open your eyes to the sights of what this vehicle truly is. And in that moment, a familiar and uncomfortably familiar symbol just fills your vision, external, internal, of ruby red lips, smiling, fanged mouth, blood dripping down the fangs. And the window towards you rolls down. I don't work for her anymore, but she doesn't like people meddling with individuals that she still thinks are hers. Careful there, Jet. You'll get her attention. As he pulls off.
Yeah, no, this is great, Phil. No, it's great. Jet's so happy about what's happening right now. That's great. How about an arch, dude? It's radar, it's fine.
I think that went substantially better than I expected. I didn't have to fight a demon or get cursed or anything.
Fair point.
It's at this moment that the message hits all of your phones in the group text.
Now she decides to join the party? I mean, she missed the club. Probably a good thing. But man, that club's so nice.
Well, sounds like we're probably hitting a less classy one.
Well, you know, everything has its time and place. Though with you, this could have gone significantly worse. I'm not really sure did we learn anything? And he's pointedly looking at Lawin and Jettica.
Just got another lead.
Jettica's looking at no one right now. And is staring the opposite direction of that car.
So we have Barbara, right? They were the first ones that we were sort of pointed to, and this lead. How strong do you think this one is, Lawin?
We don't have much of a choice. We just got to chase it down. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we do. Doing it for a year now.
This part is really boring. I wonder if we could just divide up the work a little bit. Like, you know, Lawin tracks down everybody, and then, like, Titanica and I just come in, beat them up. We pose for the pictures, and then, you know, Jettica and Lawin come back in and clean up the mess. How does that, I mean, is that a thing that, is that how this work can, I'm not getting a good vibe from this.
You're not always going to have me around to rely on.
I mean, are you sure?
Pretty sure.
I think the
Place
first
isn't
thing
that
we
bad.
should do is... should we link up with Zeth at one of these locations, or perhaps head back to the HQ, have a discussion on where to go, along with her, and then head to the next location? That's my thought at the moment.
Always keeping us on track, Jet. I appreciate you. I personally vote for the HQ.
Works for me.
Lawin?
Yeah, let's go.
HQ it is. So send a text, headed to HQ to Sweat, and off we go.
So
Overdrive. Sorry.
Overdrive, also known
Did I
as
say the
Crystal
character
Clear,
name?
gets a text back shortly from Jet to meet back up at the HQ. So, Overdrive, do you walk places? Do you fly? Do you drive? How did you get to Horizon?
So probably she would have walked or public transport, but she will always go with it with a hood up over her face to try and not draw attention to herself. But yeah, she doesn't have a car or any fancy flying means, so yeah, you see her sort of actually just winding her way through people about their merry way.
You're in luck, as if miraculously timed. One of the public buses, as Paradise City believes in public transport, pulls up just to the corner of Horizon Labs. You get on, bus is relatively empty, as it is like the next to last bus of the night. And we see folks making their way back to Epic. Now, as we did last time, I want to know more details about this building, businesses and people they're in, and your guys' headquarters. So, we'll go around and I want to get just one more detail from each of you as we make our way back to this gathering place, this massive edifice of purple glass and steel that is now lit up, the structural architecture accenting that purple hue into the night sky. And first we'll go with Jet.
Okay, and you said either more details about like shops that are in the big building, or okay,
Businesses, individuals, or specifics about your headquarters.
cool thing. Jet's gonna go with a business. There's a place that specializes in stationery, letterhead, all that kind of thing that I imagine Jet goes to quite frequently, especially considering Stylus Reader is one of Jet's, we'll go with role models. And they have all different types of hues and everything. It is another by appointment place, in fact. So part of the reason Jet was really comfortable with the Despoiler's whole system is just like, yes, just like my favorite place. Paper things.
All right. I just have one question before we move on. As we've established that Paradise City has a number of metas, and oftentimes in their career, whether while it's ongoing or once they retire, they do ads for a lot of the local businesses. Does Stylus do ads for this business?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm putting a pin in it. I don't need it right now, but next issue, I want like a full panel of one of these stylus ads.
Do.
I need this. I need this in my life. All right. Anino, Lawin, give me another detail about Epic, and whether it's businesses, residents, or your headquarters. Muted, friend.
So we're going to try with, we're going to look at another business. So there just happens to be one stall or one restaurant space that is continually shifting. Just because if it just had bad feng shui or just was a part of a super chain and it was just one too many Dunkin' Donuts or something. But the restaurant that happened to hold the record and is currently installed there is a Jollibee. So Filipino fried chicken is available much to Lawin's delight. So much
like
that he
this.
actually cuts ads for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
We're
probably
going to have like an ad special.
Yeah, no. So there's probably an ad there with him dancing with the Jollibee mascot at some point. He will sell out.
I am here for this. Okay, so for our next giant-sized issue, that'll be a ton of different like Paradise City ads. I am so for this. and on that delicious, now I want chicken note, hey there, Mr. Smith, detail about Epic residents, businesses, or a bit more about your base.
Yeah, I want to make sure I heard you right. Residences are also in Epic, correct?
Oh yeah, all sorts of people
All right.
are in Epic. So
All right.
if you want to talk about a downstairs neighbor, by all means.
Yeah, actually. So, an elderly woman who goes by the name of Magra Delight. Basically, she was moved there by her family. Her son became very wealthy, but didn't necessarily want to take care of her himself, and so he paid for this lovely condo at the Epic, so she could enjoy retirement there. Bastian had run into her by accident. She had dropped some groceries. He helped her, and at least once a week, he will visit Miss Delight and have some tea with her, as she doesn't seem to get a lot of visitors. She's a lovely old woman in her mid-80s, has lived in Paradise City now for nearly 30 years as a widow, and lives somewhere around the 20th, 23rd floor. She has a caregiver that comes periodically, but other than that, yeah, she keeps to herself. She has one dog and one cat, and a parrot that likes to talk on the regular.
Okay, I'm definitely picturing this apartment, this condo. I can see and I can smell it. The only thing that I'm asking is the candy that she offers you. Is it one of those little strawberry ones, or is it a Werther's?
Werther's.
Okay. That
Yeah,
tells
Werther's.
me what kind of individual she is. Thank you.
Yeah. She, well, I mean, to be fair, she was a former teacher herself. She taught history. Loves to talk about it on whenever Bastian comes to visit, and typically wearing fairly atypical sort of Floridian garb. You know, very light and white, but loves her teas.
Oh yeah, no, this is a woman that definitely has the Werther's and it has the proper like candy bowl, which is some green ceramic thing that's ribboned on the edge, and also has a selection of like salted nuts that is just on a
Scattered
counter
throughout
near
the
door.
condo.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, the nuts are scattered throughout.
Okay.
Because the parrot likes to chew on them.
Okay, so there's the salted and the unsalted. The salted's for her, the unsalted's for the parrot. All right.
Right.
Cashews everywhere. And on the note of nuts, hey there, Overdrive. As you pull up to this hodgepodge of humanity that is epic, give me a detail about one of the residents inside, whether it's a business, whether it's an individual, or a detail about your guys' base.
So I think we see Overdrive as she goes up the elevator and enters into our actual base proper. You see her glance across to Titanica's area, and you see both her normal eye and the sort of display of her one on her cybernetic face, sort of do a very small, very cat in the way, a very small eye roll, and you see her look very tempted to go and do something, but she leaves it alone. You see her go off into a little side room where there is an immaculately laid out, very stark room. It has only the bare essentials. It has sort of the bed, of which the sheets are perfectly folded, and a desk with, like a laptop on it, and that's, all perfectly squared up onto the table. And you see her sort of take off her hoodie and again fold that up perfectly and pristinely and lay that on the edge of the bed. And then you see her probably head out back into the rest of the base to do the same to the areas up to within an inch of where she doesn't want to disturb Titanic. Doesn't want to intrude, even though the need is there.
Good to know that Crystal Clear likes to keep things tidy. As we have previously established that there is a war between chaos and order in this little base. And speaking of chaos and order, Molly, Titanica, tell me in more detail about the epic.
So the one of the lower floors, like let's say the third floor, is all taken up by a large gym called EvoMax, and it has a variety of equipment, including equipment that's tailored to superhumans, like modular hydraulic lifts and things, and they give discounts to superhuman members because that's part of their whole pitch, is to try to get metas in there, because it creates a unique atmosphere and makes it feel like superhuman when people are lifting. So overall, it's quite a premium gym, but they give huge discounts to metas.
If you'll allow it, I think they take up both the third and the fourth floor.
Sure.
As they knocked the floor out and increased the ceiling in certain areas. And they have a actual like deep pool, and you can dive. So it's swank. And they had to work with the architects to structurally reinforce these two floors. and have it not mess up too much of the building. So yeah, that is a wonderful detail. And as we pan out from the gym and its colorful users, we have this panel of the exterior of Epic. We see Epic's being seen from a very specific building, like a couple of blocks away, something not quite as tall, like a 7-story, what's an old print building, no longer has residents, is boarded up, but at the top we see a black gloved hand just tapping on the edge of the building, looking at Epic. As we cut into the interior of the penthouse where our heroes meet, guessing that sort of central like meeting area with the table and Titanica's like class books still sitting there, maybe a few like food cartons from that delivery order maybe scattered about, as everyone reconvenes.
Bastian
So who's the
immediately
first to
goes
break
to
the
the kitchen and makes himself an espresso double.
Overdrive will
Excellent.
join and look to Bastian and say, "Make one for me too."
It'd be a pleasure.
Excellent.
How was the gig?
Same old, same old. I swear they make it easier to get through each time they update it.
Nah, people.
How was your meetings?
Oh, I mean, there were mechanical mercenaries and demons and police. We got to see Joe again. Got to go to the club. That was pretty awesome. Met one of those weird fae. That wasn't so awesome. We lost Jet for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. Just didn't exist anymore. That was a bit disconcerting, to say the least. Oh yeah, we found out this Martin guy, who we didn't know initially, was this big bad evil guy from way back when, who's just decided to open a bookstore. Go figure. You know what we didn't ask? Where was he for all that time? Like, he just poofed and then comes back as a antique bookseller? I mean, come on. Who does that? I mean, clearly he does, but you get my point.
Career villains, Bastian. Career villains do that.
Really? Like, they retire and open a bookstore?
Yes.
They don't get thrown into jail or something?
You haven't dealt enough with the Paradise PD, have you?
I mean, Joe seems like a decent guy, a little testy sometimes, but I think he just needs a vacation, but that's beside the point.
Decent, sure. Effective, arguable.
You'd
Well,
be amazed what people can get away with if they have a nest egg.
Whatever the case, we do need to decide on what we do next. And as a note, like, Jet's saying this, but Jet also has like a just like a towel that she has run under cold water, just kind of like slapped over her eyes, head back, but still talking same tone and everything.
I like to
You
think that
alright,
there's
Jet?
a TV on behind Jet, and as this conversation is going, the volume's not on, but there is a ad for Toxic Beach, a villain retirement center. It used to be a like radioactive dump and lair of one like the like early 50s villains that has now been reclaimed, cleaned up, and it's now this sort of like pristine sort of retirement community for villainous metas.
That was called Toxic Beach.
Oh yeah, it's in international waters, so no one really has like jurisdiction of this place.
That's my takeaway description for this episode. I just wanna, or for this issue. I'm just saying. Toxic Beach, come here for retirement.
I can't remember what character. Was it Overdrive who asked if Jet was okay?
Yeah.
I am fine. Everything is under control. And there's probably like little icicles has formed on the towel a little bit as Jet says that. Still
Needing to
head
say
tilted
things
back.
are under control probably means the opposite. Overdrive is giving a slight smile in the direction of Jet, although Jet cannot see.
Jet pointing directly at you. Do not start with me. It's been a long day.
It's established Jet can feel smiles.
Long day. Bastian will bring over a tea for Jet. I suspect he makes them pretty often for her because he annoys her so much. So he knows exactly like she likes it. As well as the espresso for Overdrive.
Yeah, gentle. Thank you, Bastian. And like pick up the cup, kind of most memory, and then realize, oh, I probably need to actually take this off now to drink it properly. Then we'll
I mean, I can get you a straw.
That's all right. Take the towel off. There's little like ice crystals kind of along her eyebrows. Sips the tea, does not comment on it.
So as this is happening,
where did you go for like 10 minutes?
What are you talking about?
I mean, you just were like not there physically, just gone.
Because
I was
out of character,
personally
Jet
terrified.
does not remember, right?
no, for all intents and purposes, maybe a second went by, like a blip.
So
Though
Jet
this is a
kinda
wonderful
raises an
time to
eyebrow.
take a
Oh,
moment
yes.
for our audience and give them a panel of where Jet ended up
Oh, good.
as we get to see in that moment them falling through space-time. Place that has been seen within the comics before. It's limbo. It is a place between dimensions, as there are these like large, just sort of drifting islands of earth and water in this vast void, and all sorts of creatures not meant for any reality on these islands, all just gathering around and seeing this new figure that's just stood stock still in their realm. And in that moment, a door on the island that Jet is standing upon opens. And a figure of noble bearing, but his head is covered in wax. An emotionless wax face, long waxen beard, and a lit wick atop his head. Just stands behind Jet, reaching out. Before we cut back to here.
What are you talking about? We were all in the club.
Yes, we were all, say for Overdrive, of course, in the club. Until then, you weren't. Because I don't know, and
This is why
yeah,
I don't
I mean,
drink on the job, Bastian.
I
I was there. I don't know what to tell you.
anybody remember? Was it the drink? I'm pretty
You did
responsible
seem
about
to
that.
kind of blink out of existence for a couple minutes, but like, I just assumed it was a weird Fae thing, cause like, weird Fae things.
I'm pretty sure it was a weird face thing, but I wasn't sure if Jet did the weird face thing or the weird face thing happened to Jet.
I do not truck with Fey magic. I like to deal with
So it
magic I can
happened.
understand. Or all
So it
of your
happened.
memories were affected. I don't
don't do that.
honestly
Don't.
know.
Don't make me think about that.
I
That's
mean,
all
by
right.
the numbers, that doesn't match up so much. If 3 of you saw Jet disappear, right? Just the probability
Actually,
is.
I don't.
Overdrive. Out of all of us here, who do you think has the most mental fortitude? Honestly. Do you think my mind would be the easiest to affect, or the other three's?
No comment. And I will sip the the thing.
Good answer.
Listen, I will be the first to admit, your head is a straight up steel trap. I got it. However, I don't think this had to. You know what? You know what? This isn't. We have a much bigger problem. This is fine. I was wrong.
We'll table it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Bastian
So,
gets the impression Jet does think that is a real possibility, that it was you three affected and not her. Also, that is clearly the option she is more comfortable with. If she doesn't recall, that's a much bigger issue in her opinion. That's the impression you have. I think you're
So,
muted.
Lawin.
There we go.
Yeah, Lawin, Jet, what's the next step? What do we got things to figure out, right?
I prepared some visual aids, and then Titanica will go back to like a corner and pull out what is a clearly well-used corkboard, and then start pulling out some printouts that have been coming out of the computer and some red yarn, and just start like putting them up on the board. And it starts with a question mark, and then leads to like a picture of like a grainy picture of one of the Midnight Runners, and then another line to the bookshop, and then another line which looks like she just printed out the name Lissatrixis, but like misspelled it. And then like that's off to one side, and then another line from there to it just says bar. Like, it's very poorly organized and doesn't actually give any good information, but clearly she's very excited about it.
Bastion is similarly like, yes, I've been waiting for the red string day to happen. Thank you, Titanica. Thank you so much. I have imagined this thing over on that wall. I think it works perfect. It's nice and big. We can spread out. And then it's going to start merging over to the window and start blocking out the sun. And we're going to have like days where we're just stuck in here staring at red string. And we're all bleary-eyed and tired. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much.
See, finally we agree on something.
Visual aids can be quite helpful. Thank you, Titanica.
Maybe we
You're
just
welcome.
keep it on this wall. You know, allocate over here.
But there's the aesthetic of going big. Okay, that wall.
Now that
Got
we
it.
have this, I personally think that perhaps the bar might be the better lead. We have a couple of things we can follow up on, but I personally vote for the bar because I do think first civilian name was John, right? The spoiler.
Yeah, the
John
spoiler's name was John Martin.
John Martin. There we go. I think John Martin will be the most connected to this. Is my instinct. Granted, we already do have the appointment made through the system if we wanted to follow up with him again. But yes, that's my vote. What about everyone else?
I think that's smart. I don't think we have enough to go to the police yet to bring in Barbara. We just don't have any more than a couple of base leads, so I think a little more footwork before you bring her in.
Everyone else in agreement, or are there any other opinions? Overdrive, Lawin, Bastion. In that order, please.
I mean, you guys know what's up. I will follow your guys' leads. That sounds like a good starting place to me.
I mean, I was the one that suggested we go to the bar in the first place. But, you know, if you want to finish with your little conspiracy theory board here, I'll wait.
Well, there are no bad ideas. It's all in implementation. Bastion?
Bar, if you two agree with the bar, I'm down with the bar. I will not discount the, let's not call it conspiracy, that has some derogatory terms, theory wall. We'll just call it the theory wall. How's that?
Sure. Right. Seems we're
Bar it
all
is.
in agreement. I'm going to change this time. And so why don't we all take, I don't know, 10, 15, whatever you want, and then get ready to head out again, if we're up for that.
Do we want to go like in costume or try to keep it low key? Because I feel like a bunch of superheroes rolling into a criminal bar might not be great for information.
I will be changing into civilian attire.
I'm good
Makes
with
sense
either.
to me.
All right. And so we cut away to this overhead shot of a place well known within Paradise City comics, the waterfront. It's where pretty much if there is an illegal activity happening in the city, it's happening here. And just a little off center, more towards the edge of town, within this district, there is a large, unassuming warehouse. It would be unassuming if it weren't for all, like, the motorcycles, the souped up muscle cars, and sundry other vehicles that are parked in the just flat parking lot outside this warehouse. Just by having this large population of vehicles that no other warehouse has, sort of an open secret, gives the place away. And in giving away, we're going to give ourselves some time. So, we'll be taking a break, and we'll be right back. So, pick up something to drink, go maybe grab a bite to eat. I have a feeling things are going to get complicated when we get back. Take care, everybody.
And go.
Hey, everybody, and we're back. It is good to be back, and it is good to be back in Paradise City as our heroes have found a den of iniquity. A villainous, maybe mercenary bar in the warehouse district of Paradise City. And dressed incognito, they're about to try and get in. So are you all rolling up together, trying to do this individually? How do you want to do this?
I guess it depends how incognito we wish to be.
Jet at least is going to enter by herself. Possibly first, depending on how fast people are.
Lawin will go in on his own.
Okay. So we're going to stagger these?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So it sounds like Jet's going in first. There's no one guarding the door. It's that much of an open secret that they don't care. And Jet, you stroll in, and place is jumping. There's a large bar. Looks like there's a few gambling tables. Like, it's a really nice dive. A large, really nice dive that is able to accommodate large, divey individuals. And you see atop of like a number of like outlaw bikers, a few sort of like local heavies that, you know, rent their services out to insert villain here. And then there are only like a few exotic individuals here. One of which is a gentleman who appears to be made up of mud, who is lounging in one of the sort of pallet-built furniture, nursing an entire bottle of vodka. With him is a feminine figure, except they appear to be made up entirely of bees. And it, like, there is just a full-on, like, large mason jar of honey in front of this figure, who just occasionally just dips a hand in. And they're seeming to be having a great time. No one's necessarily bothering anybody. It's very chill.
Chad will see that, note it, and then go sit at one of the, there's a seat, sit at one of the gambling tables. Not win anything, because that draws attention, but... Yeah, so if there's a lower stakes gambling table, Jet would sit there.
Oh yeah, no, it's standard. Like, you have the choices of like 5-card stud, Texas Hold'em, blackjack, and then there's a ritzier table that seems to be playing baccarat, of all things.
Jet would go with blackjack, nice and easy.
Okay. Table's relatively quiet. Just a few individuals, one of the bikers, a couple of the, what I like to refer to as hefty suits, guys that dress corporate. But these guys are professional gym rats and heavies. Might have some combat capability. But they're mostly there for intimidation purposes. businesses. And yeah, they're just going about their time. Bikers just got a Cosmo and is pretty much daring anyone to say anything, but enjoying himself. Corporate heavy suit is got a small little cup of tea, and yeah, they're just playing relatively like business casual sort of outfits for the staff. They're like in generic like white t-shirt but black vest and black slacks. And as you settle in and start playing a few low-risk hands, we'll say that's when Lawin, you come in.
Lawin's going to head straight to the bar and just grab himself a beer, and he's just going to check out the tables, the poker tables, and maybe strike up a conversation with whoever serves him the drink.
New in town. Bartender looks to be mid-30s, as broad as a stop sign, and pretty well muscled.
No, just coming back from an extended absence.
Oh, well, always glad to have customers. Here's your beer.
Thanks. So, which of the tables do you think is a hot one to get in on?
Like, if you're looking for just coming out with more money than you came in with, probably the blackjack table, but if you want to try and win it big, and you don't mind risk, I'd probably go with 5-card stud.
And if I wanted to network and form some business contacts?
Baccarat table. Just completely flat. Matter of fact.
Thank you. He'll grab his beer and head towards the baccarat tables.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of men and women around the baccarat table, all wore those like suited individuals, but like the guys are fit, but the women there seem fitter. Like one has like exceptionally well tailored suit, but their fists are about the size of babies. Sitting at the baccarat table. All of them well kept. You could almost swear you've seen those hands before, but closer. Unfortunately closer.
So if I remember the rules of baccarat correctly, there are only actually two players, the dealer and the player. And so I suppose he's just going to wait his turn and see what folks are, see how the folks are playing, and maybe strike up some side bets as to, who will win a particular hand.
Everything is relatively quiet around the table. Not much in the way of conversation. The betting is not incredibly high risk, but definitely probably higher than the other tables. People are putting in, starting out at like, the buy-in's 30, and going up from there. as you see sort of the play cycling through before it comes up to your turn. Like, you can just gently hear some almost like whispering back and forth by a few of the others here at the table. And you notice that ships are changing hands as those whispered discussions are going.
Okay.
And it's at
Yeah,
that
he's just gonna.
moment.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's at that moment we'll have, let's say, Overdrive comes in next. But go ahead and finish what you were going to say, Lawin.
Oh yeah, he was just going to, wait for his turn as a player or a dealer, and then make his move then.
Well, just as you're about to, that's when Overdrive comes in, takes in the sights. What do you do?
So, I think just before she's come in, she's looked to the other two and said, I think I wouldn't mind these places. I could enjoy them were it not for the noise and the people. And then she will walk in. And the thing is, she's probably gonna loiter fairly awkwardly. Probably over by the bar, like the main... somewhere where she can sit vaguely, inconspicuously, and maybe listen in on, see if there's anything interesting going on conversation-wise.
Two of the bikers at the bar have a conversation about family. One just recently became an uncle, and these two incredibly masculine, rough and rugged, tattooed figures fawning over the baby photos.
Overdrive will signal for her drink, which will probably be like straight whiskey, and then will murmur to herself, "See, it would be fine if it weren't for the people."
And it's at that moment that it is your turn to play, Lawin.
Regardless of how the hand looks, he's going to actually bet pretty big. Bigger than what he's seen so far.
That gets attention. The dealer looks up at you and just goes, "Are you certain?"
Why wouldn't I be?
Of course. And welcome, Raiders. We're here in a dive villain bar in Paradise City, as our group of heroes are here infiltrating incognito to follow up on a lead of a mystery involving demons, books, and the history of the city itself. And the hand plays out. I actually want to get a roll here. And are you going to attempt to cheat or just ride on your luck?
We're just going to ride on our luck.
Okay. Riding on luck, just give me a straight up presence roll. $21. Blackjack.
Wrong game. Okay.
Wrong game. But we'll take the win here, because that was most clearly a sign that despite you betting hard and even having the warning, you win. You win and you double your money you're it's with that you get looks around the table. And one of the gentlemen speaks up, not the dealer. So, are you looking for work, or are you looking for workers?
Information and possibly work.
All right. And he just sort of looks to the others gathered around the table. Let's take a break. And most of the folks get up from the table, go like refresh their drinks, hit up the restrooms as he remains sitting. Very just sort of generic older Abercrombie and Fitch model fellow is the one left sitting there at the table with you. So what do you want to know?
There are several items of mine that were being held for me in a particular antiquarian shop. One that was, well, there was an attempted breach on it, and I'm not very happy about it.
The job in question, yes, it was full. But I can assure you that they were going after nothing that you would be interested in. And if you want your property liberated, there is a job in the works to see that happen.
I think that would be a good point to cut away as
Yeah.
Lawin is pondering decisions.
As Lawin ponders, before Mr. Universe and Titanica enter, another car in the parking lot pulls up. This one nicer than most. And well-dressed, very well-dressed. Fine Italian cut suit. Just walks up. Are you going to attempt to hide or no?
No. I mean, I'm kind of just waiting, hanging out. But I'm not making a show of myself. But like, I'm not like hiding around the corner or anything.
Okay. Mr. Universe?
Similarly, Bastian's actually checking his or straightening his suit jacket and about ready to just head on in. As a point of note, because his eyes have changed since the incident a year ago, he has to wear contacts to even remotely look normal.
Fair. And yeah, you guys tend to look chill, and as you attempt to look chill, I attempt to look at you. We shall see if you guys get made. $14. Not great. Not terrible. So this figure walks past you, the both of you. You can't quite tell as they are wearing sunglasses at night, so they can so they can walk right past you. You don't know if they looked at you or not, but they make their way into the bar. Do one of you follow, or do you give them time?
I figured give it like about 30 seconds so it doesn't look like I was like waiting to follow them in.
Okay. So you give
So
it
give
a
it a
few
couple
breaths.
beats. Yeah.
And then you
Bastian, not necessarily thinking that far ahead, just walks in.
Okay.
Not even with the intent to follow them per se, just walks in.
Just walks in the same time. Got it.
Yeah.
Our well-dressed figure doesn't head to the bottom tables. Doesn't pause when Mr. Universe falls in him. It looks like he has business, as he immediately heads to the table with our woman made of bees and our large muddy friend. Sits down and immediately what could be described as a laugh if it came from a swamp erupts at that table. And a slight tittering of wings as the two obviously metahuman individuals have a third who must have cracked a joke, or there's something interesting about them. And we cut back to Lawin. That question hanging in the air.
Who's organizing it?
Well, the person who is already paid for services is putting in the hands of an independent contractor. They just definitely want things to go better, and Doxy's services were enough for them to look to greener pastures.
I imagine that Doxy's not happy about the loss of face.
No, she's rather infuriated. But she decided to not go and, scope the place out or do any intel. That's on her. Yet another person that's out of town that underestimates the city.
All right, I'll bite.
Okay. If you want, you can just slides a bit of paper, nice pen, over to you. Name of items, as well as contact number. Once we verified that your items are indeed in the shop, we will wire you the amount. Half before, half after.
Do I get to meet who I'm running with?
You will meet after the money has transferred.
All right, Lawin will. He's guessing at this point, but he's going to write down the items that he's seen, or that he's seen Despoiler have in past encounters.
Okay.
With him.
Go ahead and just give me, in that case, do you have any sort of expertise?
I think that would be a history check.
Okay, let's see that history check. Yeah, let's go with it. 17.
17.
Okay, so with a 17, you don't have a wide berth of knowledge, but you know well enough, like 2 books, that are most definitely in his possession and the names thereof. They're things that keep popping up as you have had your travels. And one of them is a copy of Tobin's Spirit Guide. And another is Der Kulten, a collection of cults and their history, written in 1493. And so, sees those names as you slide back, acknowledges, and the number you give them gets into a burner phone.
Yes, it is.
All right. We'll be in touch. Feel free to enjoy your evening. If there's any other business you wish to conduct, I suggest we hash that out now.
How do I get in touch with Doxy?
Doxy, not here. She showed herself to be unreliable, and again, underestimated the city. Put her back against the house. If you really, really need to get in touch with her, I hear she's still on talking terms with Stone. Get a meeting with him, you can probably get a meeting with Doxy.
All right. Lawin's going to decide he doesn't want to push his luck any further. And he'll just nod and return to the bar.
And at that point, Titanica, you come in.
So Titanica will walk in, and she is terrible at being subtle. She's wearing, it is a Camp Arawak t-shirt that has been cut into a crop top and hip huggers, so she's showing just most of her abs. And then just walks to the bar and orders, let's say like an amaretto and orange juice, something that is just the least intimidating imaginable.
You have your inoffensive, delightful, sweet drink. No sideways glances from the bartender, just happy to have more customers in what looks like a relatively quiet night. And then, as you are enjoying your fruity beverage, and as others are all about this place of ill repute, someone even more unsettled than you decides to make their presence known. As crashing through the wall is everyone's least favorite were-crocodile, Soren Sobek, just Kool-Aid bands into this place.
It's Croc-a-Clock!
Yes. They roar as they crash through the wall. Everyone is drawing all sorts of weapons, and it looks to be one hell of a fight is about to break out. Before initiative is possibly rolled, what would all of you like to do? Starting with Jet.
I think Jet's going to. Because, I mean, you know what? I have an extra hero point anyway. Jet kind of wants to do a stunt and have a little Gambit moment, and sort of use the card so I imagine as she's been playing, she get away with so you could say she was marking the cards, not to cheat because again she purposely lost, but so activate and then soon as Soren popped in, pin the send the cards and maybe pin the send the dealer pin into the other wall, kind of out of the way.
You are spending a hero point. We will just say that happens.
Cool.
As you take that moment, you activate the rune on the card, throw it, and with surprising force, this one playing card that we see is the Two of Clubs, is just pinning this full fit man against the wall. Overdrive, what you doing?
I'm gonna sigh and put my drink down and say, excuse me, don't mind me, and then I'm gonna lean across the bar to the electronic cash registers. And put my hand on it, and basically try and interface with the systems and set the fire alarm off to try and get all the civilians out.
Go ahead and give me a technology roll. Because this place doesn't really have a lot of stuff that's integrated, so you're having to hop systems and wires through this point of interface.
Yeah. Tabs. Okay. That roll?
38. Okay, yeah. This place, the world, this tiny world is your oyster. And you set off the fire alarm. Sprinklers start going. It's loud, it's damp, it's unpleasant, and there's a were-crocodile, and a mudman, and a very upset bee woman. But we'll get to them.
Might help with the bees.
Might help with the bees. Might piss off the bees.
Yeah.
And on the note of pissed off bees, Bastian B. Bucks, Mr. Universe, what are you up to?
Sebastian had come in and ordered something old and gold, whatever whiskey was most appropriate. And as soon as the fight breaks out, he is concerned that he is going to spill his drink, and is simply puts up a force field just instinctively, and is just sort of kind of weaving, trying to sip his drink and make sure it doesn't spill. Nothing fancy.
You know what? I don't need you to make a roll for something that delightfully innocent and understandable. I just have this beautiful picture of Mr. Universe there cradling his whiskey, and this force field shaped like an umbrella, keeping the water off of him and his drink.
So yeah, his the force field that he generates, it deconstructs things before it hits him. So as the water or debris or whatever's getting thrown about before it hits him, it just sort of disintegrates and disrupts and just sort of melts away.
So it's almost like this outline
Yeah.
of this force field umbrella as dust from Kool-Aid Manning and water just hits this field. Lawin, what are you up to as all croc has broken loose?
Lawin doesn't really want to break his cover, so he's going to remain sitting at the bar. But he'll casually put a coaster on top of his pint glass, and he will continue reading whatever was handy at the bar. It was probably tattoo magazine.
Well, there's a tattoo magazine, there's a couple of local newspapers, and a copy of Henchman Quarterly is there at the bar.
Yeah, he'll stick to the tattoo.
Okay.
Henchmen are far too beneath him to care about what their lives are.
Okay. So much for Henchman Quarterly. They just get no respect in this day and age. Titanica,
Well, look,
what you up to?
what can I tell you? That swimsuit issue didn't go over well. I don't know what to tell you. Get better editors.
So Titanica is going to grab one of the round high tables with the that bar stools around. One of the bigger ones. Just grab it one-handed and hold it up like an umbrella, and just continue drinking her drink. But she's not going to get involved unless things get weird, because she doesn't think any of the henchmen are going to be a threat to Sobek. So mainly she's watching to see if any wild ass supers get involved, because she's going to help if he's in danger, but if it seems like he's got it, she's just not going to worry about it.
Okay. I'm just going... I understand, but definition of weird is weird is a strained and broad term in this world, but we will go with, if Sobek looks like he's in over his head. Okay.
If he's in trouble, I'm going to jump in. But until then, I'm just watching.
If he stops being able to tread water, are you gonna step in? Huh? Snap to it? It's more than he can chew.
Oh, the pain! And speaking of pain, it is obvious that Sobek is here for a particular individual. As Mississippi Mud gets up from his seat and rushes Sobek, and these two titans just wreck this place. Honeybee makes a quick exit out the back, followed by their suited friend quickly behind. Most of the other henchmen and well-to-do information brokers, villains, bikers are smart enough to see a WrestleMania-sized kaiju fight in the middle of their bar and leave. The bartender painfully sighs, hits something. Overdrive, I already know you're in systems. We'll get back to that in a second. And then produces from behind the bar. You would think it would be a shotgun, but this is Paradise City. He produces a large caliber trank gun. And like he's done this before, just lines up a shot and lets fire at Sobek. And we will see if it connects with our reptilian rampager. 26 most definitely hits. This is not this bartender's first rodeo. As a 50 caliber trank hits Sobek like a truck, and yeah, now he's in trouble because you can see the starting to sway as Mississippi Mud, again, that distinctive bubbly laugh curls up. But before we get to folks intervening, Overdrive. The signal for a silent alarm is being sent. Are you going to stop it, or are you going to let it through?
Can I tell who has set it off? Someone behind the bar?
Yeah.
I will stop that going through.
All right. Just give me another technology roll.
Okay. Using all of my tabs today. Here we go.
So I just realized
It's fine.
was that a 38?
Yeah, that was previously a 38. And that's a 38 again. I am.
And again. Yeah. Okay.
19s in a row.
You are officially on call IT.
At this point, what happens in the future, I have no guilt for. But yeah, the silent alarm, wherever it was going, has been stopped. Titanica, you definitely hear the trank gun go off. You see Sobek getting real woozy, real fast. What do you do? Muted. It happens to
My
all of us.
bad. I think I'm just gonna try to just run and grab Sobek and keep going. Like, get him on
Just
the way and
grab
put
the
him
ball and
through
go.
a wall on the other side. Yep.
Okay.
'Cause if he goes down here, he's in trouble.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and actually for this, because you're trying to do this all at once. No, that's still an athletics. It's an athletics check.
Okay.
Yeah. You grab our croc man and just barrel through the wall. That poor wall. I feel bad for him. As there's now a Sobek size hole and a Sobek plus Titanica size hole in the same wall. They didn't even go through the same hole. It's an entirely new hole. And yeah, that's bad. It's bad for the structural integrity of this place. But you get through. Does Mud know that you're playing on Sobek's side or not? I need to make a quick insight check, because that could very well be just like Upstart wants to give the old Mud a hand, or it could
So
be
you're
you're trying to
saying-
save Sobek.
This action muddies the waters, does it?
Yes. But not for Mississippi Mud, as they get a good read on what you are doing, and they let out a roar. If Mud could roar, this is the sound, and there is bass there that you feel in your spine. It's unpleasant. At the sound of Mississippi Mud letting out this roar, is anyone going to try and do anything?
Yes.
Okay.
If they're now that Titanic has gotten involved, Bastian, who'd sort of been paying attention, just saw Titanica run and tackle the Weregator out through the wall. He's going to use his Graviton Grab to try and hold Mud in place.
Okay, go for it. All right, you definitely have a hold of him. Now I have to roll.
I don't know where that. Oh no, that was a 2. I mean, I rolled good, but that 82 is not correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was the plus 76 part?
Yeah.
That is not correct.
Yeah, but still, that's a good enough roll to hit him. But he needs to make a test to get out of your hold. Let's see if he's strong enough to bypass it. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Not by much.
That'll
As you summon your powers to the fore, the forces of gravity doing what you actually want them to do at this point, and you wrap around his form, but he has his name for a reason, as he slips through that grasp, just pushing past like a landslide. Your hold is there, but too slippery a critter slides out. Lawin, Overdrive, Jet, what you doing?
Jet is really not trying to keep her cover at this point. So I imagine Jet's like incognito outfit was, sort of just kind of a regular t-shirt, regular jeans, but very specifically like sort of this super big puffy jacket. And I imagine so seeing that things have escalated, sort of takes the throws her arms back, flings the jacket off, and takes two hidden compartments of her ink that she has with her, slams it on the table, dips finger in it, draws on her arms and shoots off a blast. So move and then blast if that is allowed. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and once again activate Rune 68. That's not a good 2 hit, unfortunately. DC 10. That sounds
no, since he's already. Yeah, it's base DC 23, but the 14.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Is not going to connect while essentially his dodge effect is up. So as he's mutated his form to pass through, your shot it hits a bit of him, but that bit is ancillary and doesn't connect with true form, as just a bit of mud just pops as this rune hits, almost like a bubble. But the landslide of this being continues on. Overdrive, what you doing?
Okay, so I'm gonna take a step across so that I'm face to face with the guy behind the bar that drew the gun. And I'm gonna go, hey. So I've got line of sight with him. We're sort of eye to eye. And then this side of my face is gonna basically start to sort of flash in weird patterns. And I'm basically gonna try and use that to sort of stun him, basically. So he needs to make a resistance check, a will resistance check, DC 19.
Will resistance. Okay. Nat 20.
Damn it.
This is an experienced villainous bartender. And he just, like, you get up, you get in the eye contact. He just lets out this pained sigh, like, you know, a dad dealing with a toddler who has just, you know, taken the crayons and written on the wall. As he just drops the gun, and again lets out this longer pain sigh, and quickly with speed just hits a tattoo on his left forearm, and poof, gone.
Okay. Well, that wasn't the way I was going to solve the problem, but it kind of solves the problem. And I will whirl round to see what's going on with the rest of them and if they need my assistance.
So now Lawin looks a little pissed because he was actually about to talk to the bartender before Overdrive decided to take a shot at him. Because he thought it would be a good time to, you know, flash his winnings and offer to pay the open tabs. But now that he's gone, Lawin's investigation sort of came to a halt. And he's just going to grimace and look at, return to reading the tattoo magazine and drink.
It's a good issue. It's a really good issue. Some very elaborate international pieces. Just fine artwork. But now for something completely different. As Titanica has gone through and Mississippi Mud is on the rampage, a black clothed figure shows up as Titanica. You get through the wall, set Sobek down. As you are turning to face Mud, who, again, has grown, manipulated their size, and Titanica, we know just how tall and imposing you are, but now is a crest of a wave twice your size. And this black-clad figure in the night just swipes their hand, and that wave that was going to hit you with a natural disasters force halts, stuck in time. You all are going about this in a very strange way. A feminine voice from the shadows mentions as they step into the light from the bar, now flooding, water flowing out of those two holes. And Nightingale, one of the city's off-again, on-again heroes, shows up. I leave the city for 6 months, and already things are going to pieces. I have a feeling you and your team and I need to talk. Leave the croc. He'll be fine.
Okay. Let me send a quick text.
Text, your
Pull out my
team's
phone
inside. Calling you all day.
Okay. I will, I guess, like, pop my head and just be like, hey guys, I think we should, like, talk to her. Okay. And then just lean back out. They'll get it. It's fine.
As you were leaning in, Nightingale goes over to Sobek, waves the hand, as he comes to. Wakey, wakey, Crocky baby. It's time for you to slither off in the darkness before the PPD get here. And Sobek just opens his eyes. Oh, fuck, you're back! Yes, I'm back. Now go. Carrie! Sorry! Didn't mean to interrupt one of your stakeouts again. But bye! And just slithers off into the night.
See you later, alligator.
As Nightingale finally steps into the light. Again, just this black, almost like catsuit she's wearing, but along with a sort of cowl / helm thing that has very avian features about it. Eyes are entirely yellow. Very pale face. I can't hold him for long, so we should move quickly.
That sounds good. I'm... Let's go, everybody.
And as you guys move out of the building, you hear the crash of Mississippi mud out back, and another one of those deep reverberating roars. Looks like we're getting cardio in today. And as she looks at the rest of you and just starts running.
Bastian takes off in flight.
As does Overdrive, although not flying.
So is everyone agreeing, or is anyone staying behind?
Alba.
Really?
Lawin?
Lawin's gonna rummage around in the back of the bar. He's just going to look for an envelope to stuff the winnings in and leave a contact information and tuck it in underneath the register.
Okay.
But he's not going to get involved with the fight.
Yeah, well, fight's pretty much done, as the rest of the team is fleeing, though Mud is reforming and coming back as you are putting the money behind the bar.
Jettica will take a moment and wipe off anything that she touched that has her fingerprints on it or anything.
Okay. So, Lawin, are you running, or are you going to stay and confront Mud?
No, he's going to make his way up, but he's not going to be in any specific hurry.
Okay. Well, the rest of the team is rushing off. Mud reforming and pursuing in tow. Seeing any sort of movement, this Jurassic-like creature of primordial ooze is in pursuit. And sirens are already blaring as the Paradise City Police Department all of a sudden is now on its way. Enough of a disturbance has happened that somebody's called it in. And while the team is rushing off, Nightingale speaking with all of you. Another Nightingale walks up to Lawin. I don't like doing this two places in once thing. You know that.
Lawin's just going to shrug. Well, trying to keep things on a lower profile. It's a lesson that the others haven't quite picked up on.
I can respect your detective-like ways at times, but right now, I think you're all in over your heads. Besides, this has much to deal with who you were as much as it is who you are. As she starts to fade. Meanwhile, back with the rest of the group, she shakes her head as she just sorts of dives into an alley and is just ushering you through this one side door. Do you guys follow?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Bastian comes to a landing before leaving a bit of debris and some, not necessarily a crater per se, but definitely a bit of a dent in the ground as he lands, and then dips into the door.
You dip in through the door. Jet.
Yes.
As you dip in through the door, one, you immediately realize that you're passing through into an extra-dimensional space. You feel it. But you also get a little bit of memory back.
Oh no. I don't think I want this back, sure. Okay.
As you don't remember much of the 10 minutes that you lost, but you definitely remember the hand, the wax in the hand of the Wax King touching your shoulder. I see we have someone who needs to make a deal to go back. And you step through.
That's great.
And as the door shuts behind you, you find yourself in the Nightingale's nest, the base of the Nightingale. It is a space outside of space and time, as it has a bunch of memorabilia, much like the Batcave, from a lot of her conflicts throughout the years. And pinned very much like something that we saw earlier in this issue, there is a red ribbon board. And it has each of our heroes' faces on that board, as well as pictures of Paradise City College. And it has a picture of the symbol that is above the antiquarian bookstore. a list of what might be book titles, including Tobin's Spirit Guide, Their Colton, A History of the Metaverse, Theories of Quantum Mechanics and Realities, and surprisingly on their Central High's yearbook from 2003 is on that list, as well as one of the ads for Green Run Cafe. They're all pinned up on this board, along with a question mark that sits beneath Lawin. And she just turns to the rest of you. I don't have an idea precisely what's going on, but you're at the center of all of it. And if we're going to save your friend, I'm going to need your help.
Jet looks over at Lawin, confused, and then back to Nightingale.
I don't believe Lawin's there. He didn't follow the rest of you.
Oh, sorry. You didn't? Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah, he walked off. Almost like it's something she foresaw.
Question.
Yeah.
You're calling in one of my complications. Can I get a hero point out of that?
Oh, yes. By all means, get that hero point. Would you like it now or for next issue?
We'll do next issue.
Okay.
Where is he?
Being his usual grumpy self. Don't worry, he's safe.
Knew that.
I saw to it.
I knew that was normal for him. I just knew it. Thought maybe one day he'd crack a smile, but nope. Apparently not.
You have to know him for a while before he smiles. Or something absolutely hilarious has to happen.
I mean, I've done some pretty funny stuff. Here I get a smirk. I'm hilarious, thank you.
If he's fine, then why do we need your help to get him back?
It's not a matter of getting him back. It's a matter of the danger that he's in. And possibly the rest of Paradise City. There is a battle happening between order and chaos. And it is a conflict that might consume Lawin and the city itself. And somehow you're all tied to it. I don't know all the details. I just have leads. As she points to the board.
Bastian, so just some clarification. We're somewhere between space, in between places, effectively. Is that
Yes.
is that about right?
Yes.
But Bastian I just feel his power, because of his power set and the source of it. He just starts to feel uneasy in this place. He can't quite get his bearings, so he's a little wobbly on his feet.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Give me a second. And she walks over to sort of like a large wardrobe, pulls out what looks to be like a perfume mister and just spritzes you. And all of a sudden you don't feel quite so disoriented.
Thanks, that was really weird.
Smells like apples. I forgot. Innate connection with reality.
The battle
Yeah,
between
you said.
chaos and order is always happening. What makes this any different?
That order sent a champion to a nexus of chaos. That's what makes it different.
Jet's gonna
And
look
chaos has a
over.
vested interest. And chaos has a vested interest in them not succeeding.
Understandable. Jet's gonna look over at the red string board, and sort of the way I imagine her eidetic memory works is like she looks at something, and when she blinks, it's sort of like taking a snapshot, like a Polaroid picture in her head. So she's gonna do that right now over at the board for knowledge later. Well, I think you have all of our attention.
Yes, but now I need more than just attention. I need to know. I need to know what you learned from the Despoiler. What did precisely he say?
What he precisely
Bastion is a
could.
deer in headlights look.
What? And I was just gonna ask because I can't remember the advantage specifically. So was the eidetic memory advantage, was that just for visual, or was it also for audio? Because theoretically,
It's also
Jet
for
does
audio.
know exactly. So Jet will say exactly what he said. Then just recount it.
She looks deeply troubled at something that seems an incredibly innocent conversation. They're after the books. They're after the damn books. That's why he's here. And he doesn't even know it. Okay.
He is in John or someone else.
Lawin. They sent him here to eliminate the books. He doesn't know it.
Excuse me. Are you saying that Lawin's a champion of order?
It's far more complicated than that. It always is. He has something that he needs, and order has a means of giving it to him. And they've put him on a task. But, like any cosmic force, it doesn't fill in all the blanks.
And he's on our team. Oh, us. That's awesome. This is great. We're totally going to win this. I don't know what this is yet, but we're winning it.
Bastion, you have to have balance with everything. Believe me, if I could have everything perfectly ordered in my life, I would. You need both. If
I don't historically have a
here
deep
and
history of being ordered.
there, we can't let the Chaos Nexus just get destroyed. Those books need to exist.
Oh, okay,
Order
wait.
is looking to
I'm now.
sew up everything. And they might be overdoing it this time. And they have someone who has pure intent. And they have someone who is, to borrow your word, a champion. One who doesn't necessarily know the consequences of his actions. Or that they can piggyback off of his actions. Things have become far more tidy in his wake. And that's not always for the better. Order
Does he
wants
know he's
stasis.
the champion?
He knows some of the problems, but in order to keep him safe, he can't know everything. Otherwise, they'll know he's compromised.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I have another question. I'm super confused. Are we here to help Lawin do something, or are we here to stop Lawin from doing something? I think I missed a key bit of information. It had something to do with books, I think.
There are a number of tomes that exist in every plane. And right now, Order is trying to eliminate the copies in specific places. That is going to have a ripple effect upon the cosmos and bring about Order's desire for stasis. Perfectly predictable, everything in its place. No chance, just predictability.
That doesn't sound fun at all, actually. I'm not really down for that.
I don't know, it doesn't sound
I mean-
world-ending.
It doesn't
but I mean-
end a world, Overdrive. It ends all worlds as you know them. This will have a cascade effect
And I'm-
across all Earths, but also everything that touches them. Just as much as there's many bad places like the Abyss, the Thousand Hells, etc., etc., etc. They all connect, and if stasis were to rule over everything, it also rules over all the bad places as well. And so things are predetermined. All of a sudden you have what back in their ages was determinism. But not just in a few planes. Every plane is fated. So you don't have choice. You just have the part that you have to play. And you don't get to determine it. If you're a villain, you're a villain. There is no redemption. There is just damnation. And damnation set for you.
Yeah, I'm not down for that, so it doesn't sound great. Okay,
that's-
I'm on board.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fair, really. I mean, it. Yeah. So
That can't
okay,
happen.
so we need to make sure these books don't get destroyed, which I'm typically for on the daily. How do we do that? Yeah. And he looks straight at Jet.
Lawin's not the only player, and I don't know all the pieces of the field yet. Somebody's putting things in motion to make those books vulnerable.
We'll do what we have to make sure that doesn't happen. Jet looks concerned, but also determined with that statement.
Well, if that's the case, I can easily send you back. That's not hard. but I can only be here for a short period of time and intervene for only so long. We're dealing with forces that are even beyond my capability. And as much as I would like to get aid from the forces of chaos, I know the price that is paid by doing so. And I can't let that happen. I can't pay that price.
That's fine. You won't have to.
I can at least give you this. And Nightingale goes, and it's a very simple thing. It's a little red Super Ball. And just hands it to you. Should order send someone of significant potency, just throw that at them. Throw that at them and don't look back and run.
I'm sorry, who was this handed to again?
Whoever wants to grab it. Who wants to grab the red bouncy ball?
Jed'll grab it.
Okay. You have the red bouncy ball. Alright. I know I've confused a lot of you enough, but my time here is very nearly done as she looks up to this huge hourglass as the sand is starting to run out. That should take you back to your headquarters. Be careful.
Thank you.
Should
Will
we
be
maybe
deliberate.
not go via Lawin? You might be in trouble.
Sounds
You
like
have to make
Lawin
your
is
own
fine
choice.
at the moment.
He is more than capable. That's why they chose him. And you walk back through, and you're all walking what appears to be the door to the broom closet in your guys' headquarters as you come out. And you're all sitting there, everything is quiet the way you left it. But I want one last thing. Lawin, as you're walking away from your little rendezvous with Nightingale, and you hear the sirens of Paradise City PD coming to apprehend a very confused, very upset Mississippi Mud, who, as soon as those cars pull up, just kind of, instead of rampaging, just kind of gives up in seeing those cars. It's like, well, you remember a version of him. And this one seems to have the same sort of ethos. It's one thing to rough up a super. It's another thing to rough up a cop. And as soon as the cop shows up, he just reverts back and just sits. What do you do with your evening?
I think he's going to reach for his, or one of his burner phones, and he's going to contact Despoiler.
I had a feeling you'd call. Well, what's up?
I think I have a lead, but to set the kind of trap that we need to set, I'm going to need your help.
I've tried not to dabble any further. I walked away when the old man did. I don't know if I can stop it. You sure you want to do this?
I can't leave this place without it.
I'll see you soon. And that is where we close issue 301 of Paradise City Stories.
Oh, can I have one more line? Like, I'm going to close. I'm just like, I think it would also be a good closer out.
Okay.
Okay. So, Jet, after we're back at the HQ, Jet's gonna turn to Bastian and say, straight face, I fear the worst has come to pass. You were right, and I was wrong.
And on the victory pose of Mr. Universe is real close issue 301. Okay. Hey, everybody. I had an absolute blast, and I don't know about you. I am psyched for next week. But before we even get to a few other bits of business, I want to have these amazing people go around and let you know where you can find them. So, first up, Alicia, how you doing, my friend? Where can we find you? What you got going on?
Hey, I'm Alicia, or Energy98 on Twitter, which is normally the best place to find me / find out where I'm going to be. Sundays, obviously I'm here for this game, but also over on my own channel, I play stuff like Monster Prom or Wingspan with a couple of my friends and have a good time. Besides that, again, Twitter's the best way to find me. I typically retweet when I'm in stuff. I had a great time, but Jettica's not gonna have a good time. No, she's not.
We will find out more about Jettica, the Wax King, and what was said in Limbo, most likely next issue.
Oh, should we? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, should we also do our own individual?
Yeah,
next
and
issues
by
as
all
well
means,
again?
please tell us the next issue of Jet.
Okay, on the next issue of Jet, time to go visit the Ink Masters. Time to find Miss, is it Goldust Nest, Sapphire? Where did she get the ruby dust? Find out next time on Jet.
Awesome. And can we get like a cover?
So the cover is sort of, there's all these symbols spread out all over the walls, and also a number of sort of mysterious looking figure with various like sort of needles and hands, but also some just with like a sketch pad. It's a very weird sort of dichotomy going on there. Some look very threatening, some do not. Symbols everywhere.
Awesome. Speaking of awesome, it is great to have the team complete. Sveth, where can we find you?
Hello, I'm Zweth. I'm so excited to be here. I missed last one, so thank you for the game, everyone. It was amazing. Really looking forward to next week. You can find me on Twitter at Zwethra, which is right here somewhere, or on Twitch. It's just Zweth. I'm not doing any other TTRPGs at the moment, but on my own channel, I forgot to switch them into multiple time zones. But on Wednesdays, I do craft, Sundays game, and every other Thursday, TTRPG design. So come check me out if you follow me on Twitter. The notifications go up there. So yeah, that's me. And Crystal Clear, aka Overdrive, her sort of next issue would be into another battle between order and chaos, one that is all too familiar to her from a former life. And it's going to be an interesting fight for her to be pulled back into. Hopefully feeling like she's on the right side this time. And I think...
Oh, so.
Yeah, and I think...
So with this issue, I'm just thinking, are we getting a sort of like backstory flashback issue of Overdrive?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes!
Yeah, so I think it's a bit of a... Yeah. And I think the cover for it is very sort of stark streets that clearly don't match that of Paradise City. It's very Orwellian. And you see her I think she's sort of set back into an alleyway where you can just see the half of her that's cyborg kind of slightly more lit up.
Very cool. Speaking of cool, the man who always thinks he's cool is Mr. Universe. How you doing, Mr. Smith, and where can we find you?
Thinks he's cool. I am Mr. Smith, and you can find me at Mr_Smith on the Twitters. I bounce around between Weave and our sister channel, Penny for a Tale, on the regular. You'll actually be able to find me here in about a few hours with some Pathfinder 2e over on Penny for a Tale, if you're so interested. Mr. Universe, however, had some interesting interactions. The introduction of Nightingale brought a twist to his powers that he was not anticipating. For all the things he has control over, time, a rather important variable in the force of the universe, is not one of them. And so whenever it is brought to bear, it throws him off, disconnects him from the world around the universe that he resides in. And so with that, he was in those brief moments as he stepped between worlds. His next issue of Mr. Universe is what happens in his mind's eye in those brief moments as he is seeing the expanse of the universe before him, floating in the void, trying to figure out what he is now and why this place and these events seem to throw him for a loop, make him uncomfortable. As much as he... Oh, go ahead.
I think this is an issue where we actually see a little bit of a crossover with one of the members of the Infinite. As a consequence, one of the members of the family of the Infinite shows up in this issue.
Yes, I would say that is a distinct possibility, and I love that name. But the cover of the next Mr. Universe is it is a pure black cover with a single naked body, just sort of floating in that nothingness, and his eyes are this infinite cosmic swirl as Mr. Universe attempts to figure out who he is.
All right. Speaking of someone that is on a path of self-discovery, Lawin, Anino, where can we find you?
Hey, everyone, my name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino4K. I'm not really sure where my schedule is up this week, but I may be streaming over on the Wandering DM channel for Sentinels of the Multiverse, hopefully. that starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where I play Bayani, who is Lawin's son. And then over to Saturday, we have a stream at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Scion, also on the Wandering DM channel, and then another stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over on the Other Doc channel for Invisible Sun, The Edge of Paradise. And then as far as Lawin's single issue, or Lawin's solo title issue goes, you're just going to see the cover, and the cover is a nightingale choking out Lawin, a battered and beaten Lawin.
Oof, brutal. Absolutely brutal. Oh, okay. Pick up the issue, folks. And another issue that you should pick up while you're at your local store is Titanica. Molly, where can we find you?
You can find me at The Obvious Rebel M on Twitter. You can also hear my dulcet tones on the Adventure Game Engine Interest Series podcast, AGEIS, where I'm part of a long-running Fantasy Age actual play. And in the next issue of Titanica, Anne-Marie is invited to her sister's wedding, where she's supposed to be the maid of honor, only to discover that one of the groomsmen is one of her longtime villains. Can she make it through this treacherous situation without destroying her sister's wedding? Can she stand not to punch her father in the face? Read it, find out.
And what's the cover?
The cover is her sister and her father, like, going through paperwork and arrangements in the background with a wedding planner, and then Titanica in a bridesmaid's dress glaring icily at a sort of very, like, sleazy looking guy in a tuxedo giving her the same evil glare.
Fun note, folks, is if you were paying attention earlier in this issue, that tuxedo has a very familiar cut and cufflinks of an individual that was sitting at a table with Honeybee and Mississippi Mud. So, with that, you have the issues that you need to pick up at your store. And as for me, I have been your delighted editor, Pope World Build on Twitter, Pope World Build on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. If you want to see more of this ridiculous face, you get a number of opportunities, and they keep accelerating as the year goes on. You can check us out over here on Weave the Tale, not just on Monday and Tuesday for the respective Alien and Dune, but you can also check out Wednesday, One Shot Wednesday, as it is, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, as if you enjoyed Down We Go, apparently they have a sci-fi version. And, well, when invited, I show up. And so we are going to do some Down We Go in space, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday. And as always, tune in here on Fridays for more Chew, and then back around the horn on Sunday, we are back with our next issue of Paradise City Stories. And on Friday, earlier in the day, if you wanted to see me do something completely different, check out Praxagora Thesmophoria's channel. I know it's a mouthful, but if you follow me over on Twitter, you will see when that is about an hour to live and when it goes live, as we are back with our Mechton series, Starblade Battalion Seeds. And this is Watcher's solo episode, so we'll get to see, will his relationship with Xavier bloom again, or does it go completely off course? Can he find Duncan, and what has Corpse Space done in between the conflicts of the previous wedding? Tune in and find out, but also tune in, as I need to give just a little bit of a stinger, because once you get past that, normal last panel and you flip through all the other things, there's usually just one panel left. And that one panel is of the retired Green Ronin, who we see back in the museum giving his old blade a good long look. Tune in next Sunday, folks. Till then, take care. Love you. Thank you all for joining us live on YouTube, wherever you are. A story is nothing without its audience. See you around.